Of fun. Now I'm going to jump right into the actual meeting. And the first thing I'm about to do is put my glasses on so I can see the agenda. The second thing I want to do is welcome visitors, and I know we have a number of people from the incoming class, which starts next Tuesday, weather permitting. So class 40, which is hard to believe since I was in 26 that we've been moving along. Can the students coming in with the incoming class 40, please stand for just a second?
No, let's see.
Some of them are in the back of the room. We really, really want to welcome you. And I think I expressed my sympathy to a couple of you for having to deal with Tim and Paul, but April is pretty good. So, no, it's a great class. You'll have a wonderful time and learn a lot. Do we have any other visitors?
I'm a visitor.
All right. Okay, the next class. You're good. All right, the next thing we want to do is, and I don't know how many of you actually took the time to go on to VMS and read the membership minutes from November, because we didn't have a meeting, a formal meeting in December. We ate instead. Always a good thing to do. Yeah, we partied.
Thank you, Beth.
But for those, I would like to hear a motion to approve the membership minutes. Anybody?
Motion.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
Cat Adams seconding.
All right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Then we're going to move right along here. Just excuse me. I know that all of the pollen and stuff is low right now. My sinuses don't know it. All right. Did Claire sneak in?
Yes. Yeah.
There she is. Claire, you're up. For those of you who do not know her, this is Claire Hebner. She is our treasurer. She's going to give you the treasurer's report.
She's back. Yay.
I hope you're feeling better.
I'm feeling better. I took a 2-hour nap and I woke up at 6
Well, that's always a good thing. Here, you have to have this now. It's the recorder for Paul.
Check, 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 check. All right, I'm going to speak on one side because I can't multitask right now. The short and the dirty is that we are at $48,358. At the beginning of the year, we had a total of $40,366. So we are up almost $8,000 for the year 2024. The majority, there is no majority of that. Let's see, go to the next screen. Oh, yeah, go to the next screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, the majority of it, I shortened this. Our fundraisers, we did 10,005 for the year, and our expenses were 4,000 for the year, so we netted 6,300 in fundraising. Our abbreviated canning classes and veggie classes, we had the gross of 2,800. We had expenses of 3,500, so a net of $1,900 gross net income, excuse me. The Master Garden classes. All right, so they did almost 9,000, and their expenses were about 5,000, so they netted for the year $3,900. Let's see. All right, let's go up. Let's go up one, or next slide. All right, on our projects, That's it, that's it. Okay, our projects, only, this for the gardens and whatever else, only spent $3,400. Our original budget was $7,760, so we didn't spend all of, our point of contacts, whatever, we didn't spend all of our money. Our dues, we collected more dues last year, and so we covered our memberships and whatever else with about $650 to spare. So the operations, all the other stuff, the parades, the printing, well, socials, I put that under dues, the software, the office supplies. We had some income of around $1,900, and we had expenses of about $2,700, so a net of $786 out the door. But the bottom line is we took in more money than we spent. Okay, and anyway, we got the money going into the scholarship fund last year. We transferred $2,500 into the scholarship fund. Let's see, and so we used the scholarship/education fund. 3 students got advanced training this year. Karen Brick, Maria Dykes, and Ingrid Wilgen. They got reimbursed for their advanced training, so that came out of the scholarship fund. And I think we did good. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions for Claire? I want you to give her a hand. Claire works really hard, meticulous.
Nerd.
So. I mean, Paul gets very upset with us if we're not recording this. Okay, next up is going to be volunteer opportunities and our own Beth Smith. Beth? You got to do the thing.
I got to do the thing. Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Smith, and I'm your volunteer director this year. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you're all here. We have lots of volunteer opportunities this year. A lot of them are some of the same things we've been doing for quite a few years now, but we've got some extra things that we're thinking about doing. I'm really concentrating on getting some things for people to do who aren't capable or, at this point, having difficulty working in gardens. So we're going to start some activities that we're going to be doing here at the Ag Life building. We're going to start next month with doing some craft projects. We're going to get some pots and things painted and ready to go for the plant sales that are coming up in March. So we're going to take some pretty house plants and replant them in those pots and sell them. We also have a couple of other opportunities. We started at the Winter Social, and by the way, thank you to all of you who went to the Winter Social this year. We had an awful lot of fun. I received 5 recipes from some of the people that brought food in at the Winter Social, and I thank you for bringing those recipes in. Oh, the food was absolutely amazing. I'm going to be asking all of you cooks out there to provide me with some of your favorite recipes, because I think it would be wonderful if we had a Master Gardener cookbook. So I'm thinking about getting this compiled, and it's going to take a lot of volunteers. So I'll be thinking about joining that committee. I also think it's important, being that we have been an organization for so long, it's a shame we don't have a history of what's going on behind us. We've got lots and lots of people with so much information. So we're going to take the opportunity to take that information, and we're going to do a history of Master Gardeners here in Guadalupe County. That's going to be an exciting project for people. So we're going to have lots of opportunities, and this is just the beginning. Give us a couple of months and we'll come up with some more fun things for us all to do. So, I'm Beth Smith. contact me through EMS, contact me through text or email. I'm looking forward to talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. I think what Beth's trying to tell you guys is get your rear end gear and do some work. All right, next up, education. Bill Nodine.
Wow, it's I left here in October to go to Portugal and Barcelona, Spain. I had to put that in. Spent about 37 days there. So this is the first opportunity to be in front of our Master Gardener organization. We're starting off the year with a bang. I recall last year we did our first Lunch and Learn, and it was like amazing to see how many people came to that first Lunch and Learn. Unfortunately, the slacker list will be out this year because we're not doing a very good job getting everybody out there. So we did our first Lunch and Learn. We had 34 people that attended. 2 of them were guests. 32 of them were members. So that meant we had 12% of the Master Gardener population attended. 107 members did not. And I'm not crucifying everybody, but I am waving that slacker list. I'm going to do that, okay? The other thing is documentation, and I bring this up because this year we're different. It's 10 hours of education, 20 hours of service, and if you struggled last year doing it, you're going to struggle this year doing it. So I'm looking at different ways to help you get that. In fact, I may look at doing a letter on VMS. My thought was we'll offer 4-hour classes on Saturday, registration where you can come in and get 4 hours of education, and we can try and get this done in February or March, and we're done with it. So I'm looking at trying to do that. So the Lunch and Learn, documentation, other issue, we had 21 documented, 11 undocumented. So when you attend the Lunch and Learn, do your time, do your hours. Next month, we have Peter coming in doing composting for the Lunch and Learn, and then I'll be doing the Shirts Library. I'll be doing spring gardening at Shirts, and then April will be doing growing herbs in Seguin. Again, remember, Ingrid's going to be posting that. Remember at the libraries, it's registration. You have to go out and register. In Shirts, we have a policeman that stands at the door with the registration form. And if you're not on the list, you go to the waiting line. You actually go to the waiting line. You go to the waiting line, and if the class is not full, you'll get in. Yes. And last but not least, I do want to remind everybody, and I sometimes think they forget, we record all of these. You go out to the website and online. If you can't make it into the meeting or the Lunch and Learn, go out online and do it. It's an hour video at your convenience in your own home, and get that hour. You know, for God's sake, don't sit there and look at the video and not take hours for it. Okay, make sure you do that. I'm glad to be back. We do have an exciting year coming forward, so hold on to your hats. We're going to start.
Thank you. I kind of think it's a shame that we're not more focused on travel. Bill could do a presentation on travel. I mean, I think that would be wonderful if we did. All right, Bjorn has got a lot of awards. Now, Bjorn, many of you probably do not know Bjorn Johnson. Bjorn Johnson is our new membership director. He is off and running. I mean, just look at it. So I am going to turn it over to you. Now, you have to record this. Paul gets very upset if we don't. So here you go. You're up.
So I guess I'll just wing it. Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Okay. My name is Bjorn Johnson. I was class 39. And, excuse me, I also don't know that the pollen has stopped.
It was in class, those of you who are going into class 40, this is what you have to look forward to. You graduate, you get your hours in, you get certified, and somebody immediately says, have we got a deal for you?
Yes. So I'm an oncoming membership director, I think. I think someone found out I have a computer background, so they roped me into VMS. We got a lot to get through. A couple announcements. Bill mentioned it. This year, 20 volunteer hours and 10 CE hours. Please, 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 please get them in. If you can't get them in or have a problem getting them in, we'll get them in somehow. But they use the hours and stuff to get money from the commissioner and get funding to pay for a lot of this stuff. We need to, okay. One of the things I track is people who have done 100 hours of service for the year. I believe there's actually 2 slides.
A bunch of slides.
Okay.
You were on the 100, yeah.
Okay, so these are 100 to 200, if you can see. I've got certificates for you. Call them up. Okay, that's going to be a lot of people.
I know it.
Okay. All right.
Sound off if they're here.
There's actually this year we had 36 people in the 100-hour club. You can see here's the 100, 200, here's the 200 to 300, 300 to 400. Is that too fast? Sorry.
Well, they're on the screen, you can go.
Yeah, and then the 300,
Call them up.
400,
Make them get up.
and more. Yep, okay, so we're gonna start. Beth Smith.
We should take
Thank you.
photos.
Stay up and take photos.
Yeah, we're gonna. You gotta go. It's go stand in the waiting room. Anne, and I will apologize if I'll try and do your names as best as possible. Anne Odenad. Anad. Oh no, Anne Odenad. Yeah, we're gonna get a picture of everyone. Miss Kay. She had to sign her own certificate. Annette Smith. Annette Smith, going once. Kathleen.
Thank you.
Yep. Ingrid. There you go. Rodney. Mr. Burton. Mark.
Can we go back to the slide that has these people's names on it? So when we take the photo, it's got them? Oh, there you go.
I don't know that these are in order. Mark. Bollinger. Mark. I didn't think I saw Mark. Kim Cameron. Kim. Brenda Dominguez. Don Albrecht. Kay Cover. Nope. Karen Cope. Karen? Yeah. Constance Mead. Caroline Moody.
They're all volunteering someone.
Keith Mott. Not here. Tim. Tim's here. Tim Steele. Yeah, there's only one Tim in the group. There's 4 Smiths, so. Thank you. Here you go, sir. Sarah Puckett. Where? Oh, there you are. Wendy Salazar.
Thank you. Look to the next screen.
Carol. Miss Carol, that's for you. And get up and. Ernestine, where's her? I just saw, I know she's here. Benna Hunter. Benna's not here. Go. Beth Henry. I'm sorry I don't know your faces yet. I'll get that. Beth Henry. Paul Carter, Maria. I didn't see Maria. Up there you go. There you go, ma'am. Nice. You're not Benna, you're Paul. Today. Maria, I didn't see Maria Dykes. I didn't see her here. No.
These are all 100?
No, this is everybody.
Well, once we do, oh, it's every,
Yeah, these aren't in order.
okay, well, it'd be the whole thing.
Yeah. Claire? Miss Claire? Okay. Janice? I know Janice Nobles. I just talked to her. There she is. David Cope? Nope. Pam Younger. She's here. There you are.
Thank you.
Miss Janice. Pam Malone. Yeah, she's. I didn't see Melinda Lucas. Melinda Lucas. I didn't see Melinda. Oh, there she is. Paul Prince.
Why do you take
Denise. I didn't see Denise. No, yeah, I didn't see Denise. Ann Advati. Not here. William Nodine. Top man here. Walking up with, yeah, 1,152 hours. Dale Advati and April. Okay, so who did I miss? I know I didn't get this 100% right. Anyone? Oh, okay. There you go. There's our 100 plus hours club.
I want to thank everybody for all their
The next one should be years of recognition.
Is Liz isn't here, is she? I didn't see.
I love the little shovel. I think it's
Okay, do we want to do the years of service, or just I'll hand them out afterwards? Yeah. Okay, I'll hand. Next, we have one of the recognitions we do is the years of service, and
Actually, you can go ahead. We've got time. You can go ahead and do it.
yeah, Mark's not here. Valerie Bardenek. Valerie. Melva Edwards.
5 years, yeah.
Say how many years?
Yeah, these are 5 years.
These are 5-year service awards. Okay.
Yep.
Some people who've been with the organization for 5 years.
Yep, so 5 years. Marty Carter, I know I saw. Marty Carter. Oh, no, you don't have to. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. All right, another 5-year. Gregory Haag. Joyce Fox, 5-year. And Ann Landeros, 5-year. Ann, no. Barry Jackson. You know Barry. Keith Mushalek. Oh, there you are.
You got my wife, Robin?
Somewhere.
Okay.
Melinda Lucas, 5 years.
Melinda, see him go.
Dominique Posey. And Robin.
Here's Robin.
I put up with him 5 years.
5 year. Renee Skull, 5 years. Carol Rios. Nice, congrats, there you go. There's your 5 years. Judy Sims. Judy Sims, 5 years. Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. So that's our 5 year. I'm trying to get through this. 35 year, 10 years, 10 year, 10 year, 30 year, 30. Okay, 10 year.
Yeah.
Laura Dyla. Laura. Carol. Congratulations. Kay. Yeah. And Beth Henry. I gave you something already. Here, I'll meet you halfway. We have two, Dale and Ann Advati, they're not here, they're 30 year. Wow. And then our top, I think right now, is Liz Romero, she is 35 years. Yeah. So that's the awards, that's that. Here's the service. We need to do, are we doing the door prizes now or at the end? At the end, okay. Service announcements, I'm going through VMS. If you haven't been in VMS, go check there's maybe 5 people need to fill in some of their 2024 hours that they forgot to put in. You need to get those in, make sure, the requirement last year was 6.
Chop, chop, bula, bula.
Yeah, chop, chop, because my unfortunate job is I am now the hour sheriff, and I'm very lenient, but I do have handcuffs and stuff like that, so we will put you in jail. That's all I have.
Yeah, you have until the end of this month.
Yeah, please get them in.
For 2024.
For 2024, yeah, make sure, if you're not familiar with VMS, and you go in there and you look, you're gonna see all this year's hours. You gotta make sure you put the dates in, January 1st to December 31st. That'll let you know what you had for last year. If you don't have 12 volunteer and 6 CEs, we need to correct that, because I don't wanna drop anyone, because that's, well, I don't wanna have the board. I'm not taking responsibility for that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
So I wanted
Paul, Pam, who's get the speaker?
Come on, Tim, you too.
Tim was afraid to come up.
Here, you must have this.
Oh, there he is. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
It's not a mic, it's just a
Oh,
recording.
okay. Right. Okay, first I wanted to just mention, yes, we have our class coming up next Tuesday, class 40. And I just wanted to announce, I don't know if everybody knows this, but it's a record class. We have 32 students. Last year we only had 27. So we're going to have a larger class this year, and we're looking forward to the class. Okay, we want to talk about plant sales that are coming up here pretty quick. As a matter of fact, coming up in March is when we're going to start them. I wanted to cover briefly the venues that we're going to have, and then I'm going to let Pam here talk about what she's doing. She's our team leader for the Grow Team. Tim and I are the coordinators for the plant sales.
Pam's doing all the work.
So for y'all that don't know, just like Bourne was in class 39, which was our last class this past year, Pam was in class 39 also. So she has graciously has volunteered her time to help be the team leader for this whole organization.
And she's doing a great job. Okay, she's going to talk about the Grow Team. Right now, I wanted to just bring up our venues that we're going to have. Our venues are basically starting March the 8th. I say that, but actually a week or so before that, we're going to start online plant sales through April and Frank. They're going to handle the plant sales like we had 2 years ago online, which will be good. She'll run that all year long.
All year?
No, for spring and fall.
Voluntold.
Every day.
So, okay, so getting into March, that's when our first sale is going to be. It's going to be on March the 8th, and it's going to be at the Silver Center. And it will be a 10 to 3 sale time. And then the second one's going to be March the 15th, which is going to be the Big Red Barn,
At the tractor pull.
tractor pull. Then on March the 22nd, we're going to have the Silver Center again from 10 to 3. Big Red Barn's 10 to 3 also.
So they're all 10 to 3.
Yeah,
Right.
we are banned.
And then we go into April. Now, we have in the works right now, a lot of you probably didn't know this, but 2 years we had this plant sale, and we had a very good sale. And that was at the Poly Mansion.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Keith and Robin are working on something right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get into that and have a sale there with them. And we'll announce the date when they get that organized for us.
Thank you.
So,
That's awesome.
and then after that, we have Earth Day, which is towards the end of April. And that will be basically the end of the spring sales. And then we go into fall. We have October, which will be the Pecan Fest. We have October, which will be the County Fair. We have November, which will be the Kingsbury Fest. And then in December, we'll have Yule Fest. Now, we don't have specific dates on these yet because they're still in the works. And now all these dates will be, when they are coming out, they'll be on VMS so that you can see them coming up. And we'll also announce them at the monthly meetings as to when the sales will be and where they will be. Any questions on these? Okay.
Excuse me, Ms.
I
Beth
think
had a
Keith
question.
had a question.
Has just determined it's going to be April the 5th?
Yeah, 5th of April,
Is that a Saturday?
that is a Saturday.
Okay. April the 5th at the, and when they have
Where
this,
is it?
There. Oh, there you
I should have
go.
brought
when
it,
they
sorry.
have this at the
You
Poly
should have
Mansion, they're going to have
nudged me, I
tours of the
forgot.
Poly Mansion itself,
It's really
which is
good.
a very nice tour.
If you haven't been, you need to go.
It's fascinating, you really need to go.
So, then Miss Pam Malone here, she's going to start talking about what she's been doing at Grow Team. Okay, go ahead, Pam.
Right now, we have about 15 members on the Grow Team, but we also have several people that are going to donate plants and veggies as we go. If they have extra, they're going to go ahead and give us that. If you're interested in joining us, let me know. I will put you on our little group chat list so that we can kind of keep in touch with everybody. I figure that's the easiest way to talk to each other. So if one of us has a question or an issue, we'll see it pop up and somebody will get back with you fairly quickly. Try to get in, if you haven't planted your plants already, you need to get them in this week so that we have enough time to upgrade them to the bigger 4-inch pots or get them prepared and ready to go for sale. We are doing vegetables, we are doing hanging baskets, we're doing native plants, flowers, we're doing veggies, a little bit of herbs.
Houseplant.
Succulent.
Houseplants, just about anything you can think of. If you have something that you want to propagate and donate to us, get with me, let me know what's going on with that portion of it, and we'll be glad to get you on the list also. Any questions?
Who's taking care of the transportation of the plants?
We will get that closer to time for the sale.
The Grow Team will take care of their plants.
Yes.
Take them back and forth,
Yes.
picking them up downtown.
Yes,
Ward?
because I got trailer in the van and all that. Can do it.
Okay, yes.
We'll keep you in mind.
So put Mr. Cooper's name down, okay?
I will write it down.
More than mayor.
That was right.
No matter what it is.
So,
Now, Pam, was that herbs or herbs?
Birds.
Okay.
Anything else?
But we got,
If you do want to join us, we would love to
Yeah,
have
we
you.
need
It's
this one more
going to be a
comment.
fun time so that we can all learn together and it's going to be lots of fun.
so kind of following up, late last year, we kind of started off slow. And all our competitors kind of started off slow. All the big boxes, because the winter was a mild winter last year and the warm weather started early, even though a lot of the box stores did not have the rodeo tomatoes and different things like that available yet. So we're planning and starting early, and if it's still rather cold outside, we still have the availability of April and Frank's online sales to hold those plants, but also to sell those. People then come by to their office, pick them up, and then they can babysit them until a little bit warmer weather. But we want to try to be proactive with all this and not lose anything, but be ready to go when and if it is a warm spring, and if spring gets here a little bit sooner.
If we can get through the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay?
Just FYI for the incoming class and other guests, the plant sales are our primary source of income. I mean, that's how we have money the class pays for itself, but that's how we have money to help fund the various projects that we support.
I won't
So,
take my goal.
you want to stay right there? Because I do believe that the class,
Coordinators.
No,
I got a little ahead of myself. So, anyway, class 40 report, quick. Class 40?
Okay,
How many
class-
people do you have enrolled?
Class 40, we got 32 interns. We're going to start the class on Tuesday. And we've gotten all the materials put together for the class, all the information scheduled, so it's ready to go. We'll be ready to go on Tuesday. And I hope you that are in the class here today are going to be ready, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on Tuesday. We got orientation that we're going to be going through. And we're going to provide the lunch for you guys, for the
All right.
new interns. So, like I said, it's ready to go, just be ready to get after it.
So, our class starts this coming Tuesday. We're really looking forward to the 32 folks that have signed up and are anticipating being here. Now, my long-range forecast is that the weather's going to get really cold. And Tuesday, unless the weather forecast changes, we may have a little bit of moisture, sleet, or a little bit of snow flurries. So what we have through the applications, we have everybody's cell phone numbers, and we have everybody's emails. We may possibly, if it starts off bad that morning, we may put the class off start time to 11 o'clock to help benefit, because we do have a couple people driving in from the Converse, San Antonio area. I have one lady that's driving almost 100 miles round trip, okay, from San Antonio. But we may put it off to 11 o'clock. If we put it off, then we may continue that class, the 4-hour class, until 3 o'clock versus 1 o'clock. If for some reason, if you have some other things that you need to do and you can't get out of, we understand that. Just get up quietly and you can go. But we will start at 9 a.m. in this building here on Tuesday, unless you get a phone call or an email from us. And we will email everybody, but we will also follow up with a phone call, and if you don't answer your phone, then we'll follow that up with a text, okay? Just
All right,
to
thank you,
keep
Tim.
everybody in the loop, all right? That's all I got.
Yeah. I just want to emphasize one other thing. This is another source of continuing education hours for those of you who are certified. The curricula is posted on VMS, is that not correct?
Yeah, we're posting our schedule on VMS so that the existing master gardeners that would like to attend a
A
particular
particular
class,
class.
they can attend. All they gotta do is let us know.
Yeah. But we do ask that you let
Come in.
Paul and April and Tim know so that they can have handout materials.
Yeah.
The exception to that is the propagation class, because the nature of the class, with no outsiders in that one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. We need
Here.
to- Okay. Pam? Yeah.
Ready? Ready. Now, are we going straight into talking, having our lecture, or are we gonna have a break?
All right.
Oh, just a long enough break to switch computers and all. You okay?
Quick, yeah, just double checking. Hey! I guess I'm the last person up here to tell you Happy New Year and so glad we're back at it again. So, really great to see such good turnout tonight. Just see this room full tonight. Tells me that you all have been reading your seed catalogs, correct?
Got my order in.
There you go, got your order in. I have a little report up here that y'all can read, but I'll just give you the highlights. We know that Sarah Puckett is speaking tonight, but now in February, we're having Andy Blair back. He's an urban biologist, and he's going to tell us about a new kind of pollinator. So, stay tuned for that one. Our own member, Maria Dykes, who took the Texas Superstars advanced class last year, is speaking in March. And we're going to get every detail about the Texas Superstars, which I don't know about y'all, but I love them. I think it's a great topic, and I expect to see every one of y'all here. Mark Fanek, the owner of Fanek's Nursery in San Antonio, he's a very popular speaker with us. When I booked him, when I was vice president before, the room was full. I mean, it was almost like a standing room only kind of thing. Like we all showed up to hear Mark. So I'm hoping that it happens like that again. I want to make sure we've got a lot of members now, and I want to make sure that we have a good attendance at these meetings. So I'm going to be working to make sure that this room gets full and stays full every monthly meeting this year. That's how we're all going to get our continued education hours anyway. And it's good for us to all be together. I'm planning, now that I'm kind of back at it, getting the speakers, I have a few really favorite speakers. I was in class 30, and so there were some speakers from back when that have kind of fallen by the wayside, and like Jerry McNulty. If you were here when Jerry McNulty was speaking, you know how dynamic he is and how fun he is, and I'm going to sway him. I'm going to find a way to get him into this room. And some of the other speakers that we haven't heard in a long time that are kind of favorites of ours. So that's one of my goals. And then, of course, I really want to have a wide range of topics for these monthly meetings. Tonight's going to be really different with Sarah and gardening with others, tips how to garden with others. That's very different. I really want to have you come in kind of excited about hearing the lecture. So those are my goals, and if you have any particular suggestions for a topic or a speaker, I'm around, and pull my hair and tell me about it, because I want to bring in things that you want to hear about. So with that, that's my report. And oh, did I tell you my name's Pam Younger? I probably forgot that part. Okay. Bjorn, yeah.
That was a question, but just so everyone knows, you're required to have 10 CE hours this year. We have 10 membership meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How easy is that?
You can't use all of them?
Okay.
Yep. And so,
Okay. Thank you, Pam. Come back and introduce Sarah here in a second. All right, we're going to take, well, before we take a short 5-minute break so that Sarah can get set up, I want to mention that there were some of you who were very kind about helping set up and stuff, but we would greatly appreciate it as we close the meeting after our final prize giving. So don't leave right after the speaker's done. There's more to come. If you would stick around, make sure that all the extra chairs are put up in the closet, the tables are clean. We want to leave the room in as good a shape or better than we found it. So I just wanted to mention that now, and mention it again at the end of the program. So 5 minutes while Sarah gets set up. So if you want something else to eat, help yourself, you need to go to the restroom, just make it fast.
looking for Benna. Even Maria Dykes, I thought she'd come.
That's my polite way of saying shut up.
Yeah.
All right, before we get going with our speaker, because I don't want to take too much of Sarah's time, I do have something I want to say. First off, thank everybody who brought food.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a sign-up sheet going around? Do we have a sign-up sheet?
It's on, I'm getting ready to. I mean, it's not like Master Gardeners never starve. This is not an issue. I also want to encourage you, there's a sign-up sheet on the front table that Pam's going to go get and start around. If you would consider bringing food, volunteering to bring food for the membership meeting next month, it'd be greatly appreciated. So we're gonna start it around. We'll start from the back and come forward. But anyway, I didn't want to get out of here without thanking everybody.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Pam, you're up. Pam.
Or I could just talk. You want me to just start or okay?
Well, I could just do it, or you could do it. I mean,
It's just Hi, everybody. Did you want to say anything else?
I do. I want to introduce you properly. It's my job. As vice president, I get to introduce the speaker for the night. She gives me this information, but I get to say it. Sarah fell in love with gardening when she started one on a small lot in San Antonio about 10 years ago. She was 15 then. In 2020, she and her family moved, 2020, she moved to a larger acreage in Lavernia, that's where she is now, which is called Oak Tree Studio and Farm. And she had some problems with her gardening. So she came to the Master Gardeners to get her questions answered and then proceeded to take the class. Then after she graduated, she ran for president-elect in 2023.
They talked me into it, like they were saying earlier, graduated, and come on.
She served as our president last year, and she's still on the board of directors as past president, so she's been on the board of directors for 3 years now. She has publications on Amazon, which I'm not real sure what they are. I'm going to have to look them up. And she has social media accounts under Sarah Puckett or the Oak Tree Studio and Farms. And tonight, Sarah is speaking on Gardening Plus, gardening with others. So please put your hands together and welcome Sarah Puckett. Did I do good? Did I do good?
Yes, you did good. Thank you so much. So Wendy actually asked me to talk because a couple of reasons. In January, sometimes our meetings go longer, and I'm not going to get my feelings hurt if I get a little bit shorter and I had a topic I could shorten as needed. So she had seen us on social media. She liked seeing her family, and that's what Oak Tree Studio and Farm is it's the combination of what happens on the farm and what happens in the art studio. We also sing. I mean, we're all over the place as far as all that goes, but it's amazing how they come together just like our family does, despite that my parents are much older and then I've got my daughter who's 8. We're all there, we're all living life together. And that's what Wendy was like, hey, I've seen your stuff, could you please come and speak? Now, I'm not gonna be showing the TikTok videos because my mom asked me not to, but she's got some very popular ones about her being Machete Mom, so please look that up. See, it's curious, right? But that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. And as she said, it's been a little bit over 10 years of gardening. The therapist recommended it for my husband, actually, because he has PTSD. So they said, you need to get your hands in the dirt. You need to connect to the earth. So it was actually his idea. And now I'm the crazy one that brings us all along in the journey. And that's where it started. So tonight I want to take you through that journey with some helpful tips that I've learned that I wish I would have known. Now, they are not the super detailed. I'm not going to tell you exactly the mixture of dirt and things like that. That's why you take the Master Gardener class and the other classes. But I'm just going to share with you the experiences that we had. So first, don't forget to document, which is what we did earlier here. So one of the things that was crazy for us, first picture, some of these pictures, the older ones are kind of blurry. Please forgive me. It's because phone cameras at that time were crappy. I had a really nice camera, a Nikon D7, but I was not taking that out in the garden. Both I had children, I had dogs running around. They were going to get my tripod. So get your phone cameras now, document. But why and what of? I mean, do your produce. Take pictures of your plants, the people in your garden. There's some people in my family that we've lost. And now I have pictures of them with us, and it means the world to me. You'll look back and you'll see these memories, and you'll see my kids in this, which is why they did not want to be here tonight, for sure. They're like, don't do that. But it's also helpful to remember what and where you planted something. Because either the kid or the dog or the rain, something happens to the plant tag. I go back to my pictures. I can see when we did it, what we did, who was there. So take pictures. So gardening plus other people is the main part of this. I know a lot of times gardening can be seen as a very single type thing, but I urge you to involve others in your gardening. And in this group, I mean, that's what Master Gardeners is about. We are teaching others, we are in our communities. So gardening with our families, our groups like this, our communities for us. If you'll see in the top right-hand corner, I know it's kind of small now, this was Scouts. My boys were in Scouts, and that year I was super pregnant, and they needed a badge on how to garden. So I stood there and told them what to do, and they did my garden for me. It was awesome. But that is something you can be involved in your community. At that point in time, I was in an HOA, and a whole bunch of houses, which you'll see in a lot of these, we're like right next to each other. You could throw a bag of sugar through the window to the person next door to you. And that's the way it was. So I kind of miss that because I'm further apart now. But everybody was right on top of each other, but that meant that you shared gardens and you shared stories and you got to learn together. For me, this crazy lady, this redhead, she moved from Hawaii to San Antonio with her family, and she had twins too. And whenever John was told he needed a garden, she goes, I know how to garden. She was the one who said, come with me, we'll do a garden in your backyard. This is actually the second year picture because I can't find the first one. I didn't document. It wasn't as important to me at that time. But for me, gardening started with her. She taught me everything that she knew. And I'm being a little bit silly here, but it grew into a beautiful friendship that, just like gardening, it's still with me. She's back in Hawaii again. So one of the things that I want to talk about is before starting the garden. Because if we would have done these things before Marlene and I started gardening, we were still really good friends, but we ended up with separate gardens. Because we did not think about these 3 W's, the who, the why, and the where. Consider who are you gardening with? So what are the other people's gifts? Do they have a green thumb? In other words, do they know even anything about gardening? Are they strong? I have teenage boys. They are my strength. They go for it. They also are chefs. So we will want to do something for them that they can have herbs, fresh spices, fresh veggies. Creative problem solvers, builders and fixers. We joke about it with my dad and with my husband that they're property managers. Something breaks, they fix it. You know, if I want something built, they build it. Now granted, we're in the process, we've lived there 4 years now and still building a greenhouse. It'll get there, it'll get done when it gets done. But one of the things to also think about is who will be responsible for the garden. So who's gonna water it? Very important here in Texas. Who's going to weed it? My dad has told me my weeding days are done unless you get raised garden beds. But that's my dad. I'm in the upper part there watering, and my son, one of them there, he's holding what is called a giant kohlrabi. So they would fight over who got to harvest the vegetables. And fruit too, because that didn't ever make it back into the house. Also consider the why. Did I skip? No. Oh, sorry. Consider the why. Why is each person wanting to garden? This is very important. You don't talk about this in the very beginning. So are you growing food to eat or to donate? Are you wanting to connect with nature, get outside, like what my husband's therapist said to do? Are you wanting to can or preserve? I mean, that's going to make a difference on what you plant. Like with tomatoes, you're going to do a determinate tomato, so all of it's done mostly at the same time, so you can can it. And there's ones that do better than others. Medicinals or teas. Are you doing it to teach or learn? You're going to set up your garden different based on these things. And on the bottom, that's my mom. So both of us are artists. So for her, it's a place to relax, at least at that point. Now, she, for this winter spell, has so many plants in her room. I'm like, hee, I got you. Now you love your plants, which she would not have cared to bring in plants before. Also with the W, consider the where. This is important. We talk about it in the class quite a bit. So I'm just going to skip through this a little bit. Here it was with the HOA. But water, sunlight, soil, all those things are going to determine what you should or shouldn't plant there. And in my beginning times, don't judge me from the pictures. I didn't know. I didn't take the Master Gardener class yet. But yeah, this was pretty shady. But it goes there. Is it protected? Are you going to have to protect your tools? Are there rules and regulations like, I know you guys know, HOA rules, or if you live in an apartment. We had a little miniature garden at our apartment one time, but approved mulch and color matching pots, mostly. And not, in my opinion, not tacky yard decor. We were in San Antonio, so bright colors were good to go. And then the required number of trees. Here we did, because we only had 0.1 acre on the back, we extended as much as we could. But this is something that if you have a house and you have limited space, think about all the different spaces. This is on the side of the house. We had put together a trellis. And on that, by the way, is Malabar spinach. Malabar spinach. If you've never tried it, try it. It grows like crazy. It's very thick. You have to be a spinach person, but it does cook better. You will never, it's kind of like mint. You're always going to have Malabar spinach. Those people are probably spread, and I'm sorry to them. On the top right is a peach tree from my neighbor Marlene. Whenever she moved, she had forgotten to plant something, and it was still in a pot, and it looked dead. And I was like, hey, I'll just throw it in between the two lots. It's probably not going to survive. And tons of peaches. So that was something that if I would have considered where it was, it probably would have been in a different place. This was a fig tree she gave me that had been in a pot. I said, oh, I'll put it in the same place she had it. It barely gets any sunlight there, but it did fantastic. But considering where and what is going on with that. Also being in an HOA, sunflowers are my favorite. So with it, keep your neighbors happy. We had some, that was a very military area that we lived in over there in San Antonio. And they moved from Romania. If you see the giant sunflowers, these up here are sunflowers. They were this direction, like saying hi to them. They had moved from Romania and were like, what in the world are those? Like they're mammoth sunflowers, they're humongous. And we loved harvesting the seeds and then also gave us something to talk about. Kim found out they like to garden too. And it brought pollinators. And we, with it being with our community, we shared fresh herbs. Anytime anybody wanted to come by, we had a gardening group, we had a seed exchange. It was really so fantastic that we started gardening. Okay, so I'm going to put some slides for gardening with kids because even if you don't have kids, you might have grandkids, or you're helping at a school garden, or just simply somebody comes up to you and says, I don't know how to garden and make sure my kids don't kill each other. How do I do that? I've had that asked of me so many times. So I'm going to give you guys a couple little tips. Here we go. Trying to make sure I say on with that. Why garden with kids? Well, you get to spend more time with them. And I'm being corny again, growing your relationships. And so that they know where food comes from. I know this seems silly, but I have substitute taught before, and the kids, they don't know where it comes from. Wow, I didn't know I could grow that. Here on the left, I have Alex, and he has squash. He's very happy that the squash grew. He was so proud of himself. This is Katsume squash. I love that, by the way, way better. Very prolific. If you haven't tried it before, please try it. I might have some seeds. Anyways, so with that, they're more invested and might want to help more, depending on the day. You guys know, kids. And also might want to eat the fresh produce, maybe, but not guaranteed. He does not like squash. Still to this day, and he is 18 years old and a chef, and he's like, nope, 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 nope. So garden chores. I put my kids because that's who was helping me at this time. But really, these apply to anyone helping you with the garden. If they help choose the plants or the design, they're probably going to be more likely to help. It's an ownership of that garden. They're going to care more about it and more likely to work on the rest of your garden too, sometimes. That happens. Yes, he's out in a onesie. It was one of the few times it was cold. And then the middle child there was watering. And you'll see Olivia as a teeny tiny little one. She was looking for the Malabar sprouts and any bugs. She's my organic pest killer, I tell you. So, when you're working with kids though, keep expectations realistic. I discovered very early with her, actually by accident because we had a pile of dirt, to let her have control of it so I could garden. She could put whatever she wanted to in there. She'd normally come steal some seeds, or I had a bowl of, I don't know what these seeds are. I know you guys all have those where something's happened and you have this mixture of mystery seeds. She could put whatever she wanted to, including things like dinosaurs, fairy garden. She's got a big dinosaur, but she wouldn't let me bring it. That is in her fairy garden right now that is eating the gnomes. So she has brothers, so she's got both there, but it's for boys too. We've done little fairy garden put together kits with kids, and the boys normally chose dinosaurs. But it is fun. And these are like $1 at Target if you watch whenever they come out, by the way, or get them at Goodwill. You could do a lot of Goodwill shopping for those, and Dollar Tree. They do their little bitty miniatures. They last pretty good, and the kids think they're fun. So that's all that matters, is it keeps them busy. Set them up for success. And really this is with anybody that doesn't really have patience for the garden either. I would say small plants, quick turnaround. Radishes, she loved how fast they were to grow. She wouldn't eat them, but she did like taking care of them and harvesting them because they're really quick. The little tiny tomatoes, I think Tiny Tim or F1 tomato, I've gotten them at H-E-B before. They're these little bitty bushes. You put them in a pot, and you can move them when you're mowing or whatever. And they're the tiniest little tomatoes, and a whole bunch of them grow on there. She loves them. Sugar snap peas. So, whenever you're getting your garden together, you make some wish lists. The way that we do it, and how I've found it easy to do whenever you're working with a group of people, is you get those seed catalogs you guys were talking about. Circle what you like. If it's an older one and you're okay with your kid cutting it up, cut and paste. You can be looking at this year's seed catalog, they could be looking at last year's seed catalog, cutting and pasting. So it gives you time to do it. Save your empty seed packets, especially, of course, if the ones you like the most, but it's also good for, oh, I like that kind. See, here we have purple bell peppers. Yes, for my mom because she likes bell peppers, and for my daughter because she likes purple. Those are good, by the way. They're called purple Oda peppers. My dad likes tomatillos, so we got a yellow, a green, and a purple. My husband likes peppers. So it's just easy for people to look at the seeds and choose, or the pictures, or even sometimes go to the actual store, or to the, at the top, the plant sale place. But don't buy your plants yet because you'll overbuy, like I have many times. Wait, this is just for your wish list. If you're starting plants from seed, think about if you're starting them outside or inside or both. Here we have, I'm showing my daughter the ones inside my room, which I'll show you guys later. Yes, it's inside my bedroom. And then outside my mom's at a table with my daughter. But split up the growing tasks, which is what we do too. With the grow team, different people are growing different things because something happens, if you have disease, if you get sick, there's still plants for the garden. So split up the tasks for that. Also how not to have mystery plants, or try not to at least. Don't forget to label and document with your camera as well. So print out or draw, like if you're using these kind that have the cells, I can't talk tonight, sorry. Then you will, but see here I have the grid, so it's telling me which one it is too in case I lose the labels. So I have a grid that I take to the actual shelf so that I can know what's on there, and I can keep track of what germination rates, if stuff is happening, I can do that. So we had the seeds starting inside, the good, bad, and ugly in my opinion, but we started with egg cartons. Because whenever you look up online how to garden with kids, they tell you to do that. Don't do that. And you guys do that. Then my boys had an origami phase. So they did the newspaper kind, which worked pretty good, but once it got too watery, falls apart. And then I personally like the little mini greenhouse sets that you can buy and adjust and do that. That's personal. And I like the little, I'm not gonna say the brand, they're little expandable pods. That's the kind that I like to use, but some people don't. This is our current setup. My husband's in there setting up for me last year. But we got these very good metal shelves. We got these lights that adjust. You guys have seen how to do that before, and in our classes too, we go through it. And it's also good for storage when you're not doing it. Because I don't want to move it in and out of the house. So it just stays there, and a weird purple light shines from my bedroom window to the front. I'm sure people think I'm growing other things. Anyway, maybe not. But it is time to make the garden plan. And I advise you to do the garden plan once you know what seeds are surviving. Because I've done my plan before, and then the seeds that I started didn't make it. So after your seeds have started growing, and before you buy the plants, it's just a budget tip. You can do whatever you want. I'll probably break the rule myself this year. This is more for me. It's in writing. Encourage your kids to also come up with a design. They know more than you think they do. They watch, especially years over years. We homeschooled the boys for a few years because their asthma was really bad. And I would be like, hey, do a garden design. Just to leave me alone for a few minutes. And they did a fantastic job. We'd go over what worked and what didn't. But that's more than just kids. I mean, if you're gardening with a group, you could all talk about a plan and share knowledge of what works and doesn't work. And of course, as the master gardener, you're probably going to be the one that gets to do it anyways, but that's good, especially if you like control. And I know that there are apps that you can use, but personally, I like paper. I like to draw it out. So I go and measure my garden and get all that taken care of. Also in planning, please don't make the same mistake I did as a beginning gardener. So, of course, take into account the direction of the sun and the wind and the water problems. See here, at this point at this house, we had 2 dogs and 3 kids. And I wanted to try to put the gardens up against the fences and up against the house so that we had space to run in the middle. Problem though, see, I have cucumbers on both sides of this lovely garden bed my husband made. But this side died once this side grew up. I should have known that, I just didn't think about it. So just think about where it is in your house or around your house. Okay, you guys know me, cut and paste and all of that. It looks like a method of madness, but what I do is I get correct measurements of the garden. Let me rephrase, my husband does, because he gets out his cool tools that he bought for that purpose. And then we come up with a name or color code for each bed. Very important, whenever you're talking about it later, garden bed 1, garden bed 2. Anytime you have multiple ones, very good to do that. Start with a labeled piece of paper for each plant, if you're doing it like I am. And then you can move those around. This is the more recent example. I take into account more of the actual size of the plant, but Olivia's over there doing it too. She wrote random letters on pieces of paper. It's okay, but she doesn't understand, but she will at some point. Now she knows more, and we talk about it more. She's 8. She can actually write the words, but you can use pictures if it's even a younger kid. So with the planning, I started to realize, as we all do, we grow as gardeners in our knowledge. I grew up with a great fear of bees. That's not good when you have a garden and you need pollinators. I had a great fear of bees. I didn't want to waste any of my garden space on anything but food. Like, I wanted food. So the first year, I had to hand pollinate a majority of my plants with a little paintbrush going around. So I started looking into all the different kinds of pollinators and what they needed. And not just the flowers. Parsley was the one that surprised me. I didn't know that they liked curled parsley. So I just planted more. I'm like, it's okay, you can all come. And then we have, it's different where we are than where it was in San Antonio. And it just, I know that should be a duh, but I hadn't really thought about the deer whenever we moved to Lavernia. We moved to Lavernia and I was like, I've got over 4 acres of space, I'm gonna garden the whole thing. Nope, can't do that. So thinking about your location, because the animals, is very important. This right here is what's left of the pool deck that was at our house. We took part of it away and we're recycling it to make that lovely greenhouse that I will eventually have. And the other part became what we call our patio garden, because it's too high up for the deer. They don't mess with it. We kept the structure of the outer part of the pool deck, and it's over 6 foot tall, and we put the fence there. We did the rest of our garden around that. So I actually have quite a large space that is enclosed away from them. But until we did, we just had all of them in containers by our house. And we used companion planting. They don't like onions. They never mess with anything, but I had onions along the front, like a big fence. This right here, the location, I'm saying the pests and other animals, my dogs, do qualify. So this was along the side of the fence. And the neighbor dogs and my dogs would run back and forth. So they'd jump into my garden beds. So I asked my lovely scout boys, could you help? So they made me little makeshift, see these lovely knots that went across for a couple of years, worked great. The other way is to deal with other kinds of animals. My husband liked, well, he still does, putting praying mantis, little egg sacs in the garden. We had a cat, and she would eat a lot of the pests. And then we had chickens. Granted, now I don't because of raccoons, but hopefully again. And as I said earlier, my daughter is quite the hunter as well. I have videos of her killing lots of slugs and such. So with that, like I was saying, the evolution of planting, gardening plus plants, companion planting, square foot gardening, thinking about tree guilds and food forests. Now, this is my personal experience and my learning pattern. This is not all tested by Texas A&M. It's just my personal, what it affects my life and how I like to garden. It makes sense with the squares and with the tree guilds. I love fruit trees. So I did that at where I am now. This past year with medical stuff, all that's left is a few things, but that's okay. You can start again. But I had the tree guilds and food forests, so I was interested in it because the idea is that you don't have to upkeep it as much. So that's the idea. Please have others help you. It saves time. They're invested in the garden. They learn. And you can take individual time for those that need a little bit extra help if you have taught the others to do the simple stuff, like go water that while I explain how we prune the tomato. This is what I like to do for my family whenever we are gardening. If I have plants, I lay them out where I want them and say, go. And they're so wonderful. They help me put them all on the ground. So here I had them in containers. These were strawberries in between my asparagus beds. And any special instructions that you have for them, that's what these are here. This is what I'll give to my family. I'll be like, here's your basket for your section. And in that section, it will have the plans for that, where to plant everything. It will have the garden tools that they need, gloves, clips to put up tomatoes, scissors, and all the little seeds for stuff putting around the plants. Like I like to put alyssum around like my peppers and tomatoes. It's a good ground cover underneath them, and pollinators like them too. But I'll make it like that. I like this one probably the most. IKEA for most of these, I think, or Dollar Tree. Just any little baskets you can find. This one's cool because it's got a top lid. The reason why I love this the most, in Texas, whenever you get the random shower, put it over to protect your seeds from getting wet. This one wouldn't do that. This one would. The little bathroom shower caddies, the cleaning caddies, they are great too because they stack in each other, they wash off really easy, and you can just hand them to the person. The other one is, they have these a lot of times too for schools. And I like to put, okay, so you're gonna put the strings, you're gonna have your clips, you have your little stretchy tape, and that's my trellising basket. And if you don't have it, a light for your garden in Texas because it's hot in the middle of summer. And so we garden by nighttime. These are magnetic. You can find all sorts of stuff like this, and they're really, really bright. But we'll set these up and garden by the nightlight because it's hot. And you can find the bugs that are bothering your plants a little bit easier. My boys, yeah, they like that. We have this. So this is a picture of what mine would normally look like because I do it by sections. I take music, I take a speaker. I have about companion planting to reference. I have my seeds, the plants, and something to drink. Now I didn't bring the knee pads today because those are still up in storage. So once it is started, once you get the garden started and things planted, this is my mom and I this past year, by the way. I was having some medical issues and I wasn't able to do my big garden. But my mom and dad like it so much now that they were like, we gotta do something. I love tomatoes, and I love peppers, and I love basil. I gotta have it. And I was like, okay, so how? They built this, which is the buckets that you can do. And it worked really well, so I helped them with that. So remembering your volunteers who and why, that they like the kind of tomatoes. The who, well, they're older and they don't want it on the ground. They want it up. We use companion planting to be there. We agreed upon a scheduled chore list. Very important, especially when working with a lot of people, especially in this group. But I would say, at least for me, because I'm a control freak, and once it's past a week, you can't fix a lot of stuff. Go in there once a week. Check to make sure quality check. Make sure there aren't bugs killing it. Make sure they did harvest it, they did water it correctly, all of those things. Once a week, just go do a quality control if you're gardening with other people. Discuss the methods of pest control and pruning before your garden starts growing, because that can be a source of arguments. And also, don't mess with other people's gardens without permission. So that happened more at the HOA because we were all so close to each other. You'd go over and visit and just be talking and just start, let me help you with your tomato. No. And I'd say, no, don't touch my tomatoes. These are my tomatoes. So don't touch other people's gardens without permission. And I would also say meet up at least twice a year, if not seasonally. Decide what to do with your harvests if you haven't already done this. Are you going to preserve them? Are you going to dehydrate them, can them? You're going to make them to sell. We made smudge sticks one year because we had so much of the sage. So, and the produce on the left was after we'd actually moved out of our house, but I was still maintaining the garden because it was 2020. The people buying it, that was why they wanted the house. So until they moved in, I maintained, and we were still getting produce, even with a limited amount. But discuss what worked and didn't work at those meetings. Discuss your next rotation. And document. I know I've said this, but it is so great to be able to look back and see what you planted, what worked, what was the temperature. I tried with chalkboards that year, and I really liked it because I could put what the temperature was, what we did, what we planted. I know this one's smaller, but see here we, kohlrabi and Chinese pink celery, we planted, tender sweet, pea snaps, all of this we watered, when was the sunset, just for record keeping. We were also homeschooling at the time, so that helped as well. And you never know, you may end up writing a book or doing an instructional time, and you'll need the pictures. So, as we close up, I encourage you though to plan ahead. Focus on the positive. Know that it might not work out, and that's okay. This past year, my garden, my personal part of the garden, wasn't good. But there were parts of it that was, and that's what I choose to look at. But I try to be more positive. The lion's ear clipdaga that we put into the county fair, and the moringa won the tricolor. It was still alive, the moringa tree. And so I'm focusing on the positive of what is still there. I encourage you not to do it alone. I know sometimes we go out to the garden just for a little peace and quiet, but as a whole, don't do it alone. It's so much better with the relationships. You learn from each other, you work together, you get to know each other better. Gardening with others has helped me and my family connect to the earth. I know that seems very hippie-ish, but it's true. I care more about what is going on to the ground, about the animals that are around. We try to do everything organic. I've connected to my community. It's been harder in Lavernia because we're further apart. But as far as at the HOA, I'm still friends with the people who were really close to me. And for me, I thought about it today, it connects me to past generations of my family. My first memories were in the garden with my grandparents. And I had forgotten about that. So it connects us as well to that. So my goal, and I hope your goal as well, is to continue to grow those connections with the understanding of the other people and the animals and the plants, and teach others to do that as well. That's our job as master gardeners. And I thank you so much for your time tonight.
Anybody have any questions for Sarah?
Yes.
I do have a question. You did the buckets last year.
This last year.
So with the buckets, because I've seen the pictures, I've
Yeah.
seen all the stuff, holes on the bottom, any tips about that? Because it's just, they're great. It's a great
The
series.
quality of dirt that you put in is very important. You're gonna want it to not go through too fast, but also not be too soggy, which I know that's hard with any kind of container planting. You gotta find that right mix.
Right.
For us, whenever we were hand watering, and I know it would be better to have a system, but we haven't done that yet, both time and money. But with it, watering, because it was levels, it was hard to like get every part that you needed to. So to really make sure that you get into the bucket and on the bottom of the plate there, and not on the leaves. We did companion planting with it too, so that helped everything, like the basil, the tomatoes, and peppers, and we did a boxwood basil, which is really tiny, but it's great. But I do have the layout, so if you want to email me, my dad kept all the building plans, because he built it. So he had fun building it, and it's still holding up and doing good. We didn't have as much issues with ants as I did with things on the ground. Because we have leaf cutter ants normally that kill like overnight, and they didn't mess with those at all. Thank you. Yes.
I didn't hear what kind of squash that was that you really liked.
Tattoo May squash. And I may be saying it wrong. It's Tatume, Tattoo May.
Okay.
But they do sell it at, I know you can order the seeds. There's normally an heirloom seed, organic type places will have it. Rainbow Gardens, sometimes. Green Gate. They have the seeds too. Here in Seguin, there's a place called Green Gate. And we're jamming out.
There you go.
Anyone else have questions?
Yeah, so going back to the buckets,
Yes.
we know the quality soil is
Yes.
Do you put, since it's a 5-gallon bucket, do you put like,
We put a little bit of sticks in the bottom because we have a lot of fallen tree limbs, so that's not hard for us to put. And some rocks and stuff at the bottom sometimes too, but it gets too heavy if you're not too careful. So Dad put some extra support. And I do have up here, if you want to look at them, the boxes that are put together. So we have more than this, but this is what pertains to gardening currently finished. I have some family ones and kids ones that are almost done. But this one is Easy Peasy Garden, a garden guide for beginners. So it is companion planting, very simply put with pictures. It's our story, what goes well together, what doesn't, and what is a good, like put the mint, put the chamomile. This one goes with it, but you can have it separate. It's like a garden journal. So you can keep track of what worked, what didn't work, your harvest totals, and it's got pictures from our garden behind that. We got a journal. Oh, and these are our business cards, but I also just wanted to show you too because we put our pictures from our garden and from our artwork on here. You're welcome to take any, and if you guys have any questions, you can find me, and we'll have one of the garden journals as an extra prize tonight. So,
Any other questions for Sarah? All right, then let's give her a final hand. Since you're a member,
yeah,
we can't pay you.
I know.